Let's go.
Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit that notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. So recently, I uploaded a video to the channel talking about the PS5 Pro when that got revealed last week on PlayStation's YouTube channel. And the PS5 Pro was getting some really insane backlash. And the main reason for it was because the actual upgrades you get are very minimal if you just have a PS5 right now. Because the reason why you would get an upgraded console would be because the upgrades are so substantial that you just have to ditch your current console for another console. Obviously, that's why you end up getting the next sequel console for whatever video game company you support. There are people out there that like all three, like myself, but if you're just a PlayStation guy, well, why are you getting a PS5 Pro when the one you have right now is just perfectly fine, right? All these upgrades we're talking about are basically nonsensical and useless unless you're a guy that actually can play games at that level of resolution with maybe a TV you have, right? Because the only good things they offered with the PS5 Pro, in my opinion, was that it was going to be a console that is backwards compatible with about 8,500 games. Well, I'm glad that your console's backwards compatible, but that should kind of just be a norm in gaming consoles, because you want the people that already previously bought those games to want to go and support it on the new console as well, right? And then this was an actual spec they had. It's Wi-Fi supported. Man, bend me over and fuck me twice. I'm glad a PS5 Pro in the year 2024 is Wi-Fi supported. What are you gonna game with? A fucking rock or something? Stupid bullshit, right? So this was something else that I want to make sure I clear up, because a lot of people are saying this and this is wrong. You can play physical games on your PS5 Pro, but because they didn't announce this in the trailer, you have to buy Sony's own physical disc case to do so at an extra cost of $80, right? So this PS5 Pro is going to retail for about $700 plus tax. Then you buy that physical disc case plus tax. That's going to already bring you to about almost $800 anyway, right? So then with the Xbox, if you just go on Xbox's Twitter account, because I follow all of them, Xbox can only promote Game Pass. I'm not saying Game Pass isn't good, right? I'm not saying it isn't beneficial in its own way. But Xbox has basically just become this one-trick pony where all it can offer you is Game Pass. You know, and I even asked myself this, like, the only Xbox console I ever owned was the 360, and I absolutely love that console. It's one of my favorite consoles of all time. I absolutely adore it. And, you know, I told you guys this before. I might actually get an Xbox Series X if I had to choose between them, because I just like the Xbox controller more. I just thoroughly enjoy it, and I love the feel it has for me personally. But unless you think like I do, and I know there's other people that do, why would you get an Xbox, though? What is the actual reason? You know, I'm not saying both don't have exclusives. I'm not saying that. But why? There isn't really anything you're getting outside that you probably can get in the PlayStation 5, right? And at least on the PlayStation, if you just were a Marvel fan like I am, you can even have the Marvel games you could play, like the Insomniac Marvel games like Spider-Man and Miles Morales and all the other ones they're going to make in the future as well. And that's the biggest problem with either of these, is that PlayStation can only just remaster the same shit constantly. And I don't have an issue technically with remasters, so to speak, but it's the same games constantly. The ones that obviously sold well, but like if you're gonna remaster stuff, remaster other older titles that a lot of people like as well. And Xbox, I mean, all they can promote is just Game Pass and Call of Duty. Now, both PlayStation and Xbox have had massive layoffs recently. I'm gonna go over both those in well, Xbox was a recent one. I'll cover that in a separate video. And the PS and PlayStation has had a few other things I want to talk about in other videos as well, because they also recently, after revealing the PS5 Pro, released the refurbished models for the PlayStation at cheaper the cost than the base model of PS5. What are these guys doing? right? And the main reason why people haven't been gaming as much or not buying the physical games as much as they used to, because we know there have been reports of record low console games not selling because the games, most of them, from what I've seen, some I even own, which is a bunch of microtransactions deal, and some of them come out not even fully done. They have to basically have you restart games, like with Star Wars Outlaw. Didn't people have to just restart it because the game came out buggy? Like, what is going on with some of this shit? You know? Now, if you're a console war fan, if you like just battling, oh, my console's better and all my console's better, to me, whenever I grew up, it always felt like PlayStation was the more preferred. And I had more PlayStation stuff growing up, right? So we had a new report come out, and it says right here, analysts, PS5 Pro outsold Xbox. Whoo, that is not gonna be good for some people. Holy shit, oh, let the console wars commence. All right, sorry. PS5 outsold Xbox almost 5-1 this past quarter. While the larger generational trend estimates that PlayStation 5 is outselling Xbox Series X and S 2-1, similar to the last generation, the gap may appear to be widening in a big way as of late. This week, Sony and Microsoft both reporting earnings, and with that, gaming division information. Microsoft only posted financials, not exact figures, with a 31% hardware sales drop, and while Sony had a 29% drop as well. They reported 4.5 million consoles shipped. So people are still buying these, but I don't even think they're buying them for, I mean, yeah, they're buying them for games, obviously. I think they're buying them just to have as home consoles to play like YouTube or Hulu or Netflix or some shit like that, you know? And people gotta factor in, when it came to most video game consoles, they mostly took a loss on the consoles themselves while they relied on the games to make you your profit. Now, keep in mind what I just said there. If the consoles are technically always treated as a loss leader, because that they would kind of always be if you really think about it, if the games are not selling or people don't want to buy them, whether it be digitally or physically, well, then how do you make your money? If the reason why you make profit from these is because you sell the games, and if there's not many games for people to buy and or good ones they want to buy, well, we're just actually shit out of luck, honestly. Now, using available data and their own calculations, analysts are saying that this past quarter, they believe, so it's not concrete, they believe that PS5 outshipped Xbox Series X/S close to 5-1. That would put Xbox shipments at around 800K to 900K for the quarter. Dismal numbers. This comes from Nico Partners, Daniel Ahmad, and before that, John Welfare, who had a similar estimate a little while back. With Microsoft not reporting actual unit sales for years, industry analysts have to make do. What's going on? I mean, it's certainly bad news, as if you do 800K console sales quarterly. Oof, that would be 3.2 million Xbox sales in a year. Sony sold 20.8 million PS5s last physical year and estimates 18 million this year as the peak of its sales have been reached. This is also even considering that the Xbox has a lower cost option in the Series S, but that price difference has not mattered, especially now. So I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, why has it not done better if it cost less? It is, see, this is what I always got to tell people. It doesn't really matter. If you have a job and you make good money, and obviously if you make good enough money to the point where you can kind of just go and buy one of these, it doesn't really matter if something's cheaper or a little bit more expensive. People will just kind of buy it. Yeah, they're going to kind of bitch and moan about it. At the end of the day, it's kind of what people do. But you will buy it. That's just at the core end of it, you will buy it, right? I've said many times, Sony and Microsoft are struggling with the few shared but many different challenges. Microsoft grapples with the long-term sustainability of its Game Pass model and poor leadership decisions closing Hi-Fi Rush, Tango, GameWorks. Sony is contending with frequently ballooning game budgets and limited reach on its consoles, and lately, issues with PSN linking as it tries to expand its live service games to PC. Yeah, both of them have their own separate problems, right? So Microsoft is just like right here, even he mentions this, a one-trick pony on Game Pass right now. Sony is a little bit different in that regard because I still believe Microsoft is spending a lot of money on these games, these big budget ones. I firmly do believe that. There's no way they're not. Sony recently, the Concord situation, outside of the layoffs, right? We had the one guy that runs the PlayStation department say that, oh, we really want PC gamers to buy a PS5. I'm not saying I would never buy a PS5. There might be reasons I would just get both of them. I would just kind of prefer the Xbox right now. But I wouldn't mind getting a PS5 later on, or some reason not to, right? Because I like all three. I like having a wide variety of games to play. The PSN linking, like you gotta just always make a PSN account to fucking play a game. It's like, oh my god, dude. Like, what are we doing here, man? Like, if they really want to boost their sales numbers, Microsoft has to offer people something that makes them want to buy an Xbox, you know? But if we're talking about console sales, Microsoft has been downplaying its need to sell hardware for years now, pushing the idea that you can experience Xbox anywhere, namely on PC, with day and date Game Pass releases. Yeah, that's actually a thing now. So a lot of people kind of know the day and date releasing for movies. There's actually a thing that Microsoft did where instead of it being movies for like movie companies, Microsoft did this thing where Game Pass, you can get a game, brand new one, day and date release between both. If you have a PC and you have a console, it comes out the same day on both, you know? But then, aren't you just basically pushing people to just get more Game Pass? To be fair, not a bad idea, because you want to sell Game Pass. It's their highest selling thing right now. But then that means more people aren't going to go and get the console, right? Because if you just train people to just kind of condition your audience to just go and get a PC, to get the new games day and date, I think it's mostly for new games, but like that's what people buy. They buy the newest thing when they get paid on Friday or that week, right? They're just conditioning their audience to just consume games on PC, right? And Game Pass. So why would you buy the physical console then at that point, you know? And on other devices through cloud gaming, which remains a niche market. The path to cash has been Game Pass subscriptions, as it's more valuable to have players paying a monthly/yearly fee that will end up being far more money than a single console would be. But now, Game Pass subscriptions are hitting a ceiling, limited by poor hardware sales, Steam-focused PC gamers, and the technical and audience limits of cloud gaming. Xbox has no plans to abandon hardware, despite what these sales trends may start to suggest. Yeah, that's the thing, is I've said this. I'm just putting this right now. I think I said this in my last PlayStation video. I don't think we're getting a PS6 or another Xbox console for a while. But given the fact that PlayStation has sold very well, a PS6 is not too far out of the realm of possibility. It just isn't. But an Xbox One, it might not actually be a full-fledged console like this one for the Xbox Series X and S. I think it will be a console, but it's going to have more of a handheld model to it added as well. We know they will push forward with new and more powerful consoles. There have been long rumors about Xbox perhaps trying a Switch-like handheld or no hard drive dedicated box for cloud gaming. But there is less of a focus on console sales, and there is cratering numbers in this quarter. Estimates say we are in the latter category, with its game pipeline relatively limited for the near future. Turning that around is going to be tough, even if it's possible at all. With generational console sales peaked, it would be a bit surprising if something close to these numbers was not the new normal, at least barring some massive system selling hit. Though we'll see if one of those ever arrives. Yeah, that's the problem, is that we get to all that right here. Sony is definitely outselling Microsoft with its PlayStation, and Microsoft is so just busy on just doing Game Pass, right? But at a certain point, that is going to peak in and of itself, because there's only so many times you can basically fix the pricing on Game Pass to get more people in. Like, just recently, they're changing up Game Pass, right? They're going to change all the prices again. I saw it on their Twitter account myself, you know? And PlayStation has shown that even if you are a PlayStation Network member, that like a few months ago, they were taking off stuff people bought. You know, like these companies are really just, I don't know what's going on with them. People that are running them are smoking the biggest line of crack you can possibly think of. It's just crazy. But yeah, I'm still deciding on which console I want. You know, because I like just gaming in general. Who knows? I might end up getting both at some point. Probably just choose the Xbox first because, you know, I just like the controller better, honestly. But yeah, that's why the Switch is king, in my opinion. But people factor in the Switch is a console from the PS4 era, honestly. It's not crazy. I'll get to that later. Nintendo has its own fair share of issues, right? And if you're Nintendo right now, you ain't fearing any of this. These guys are fighting it out with this, my hardware's better, blah. Well, Nintendo Switch is constantly outselling these. Well, Nintendo Switch is selling very well, and their games are selling a lot, honestly. But if you are a PlayStation guy or an Xbox guy, let me know in the comment section below. Is it surprising to you that the PS5 has outsold the Xbox the Xbox Series X? I'm not surprised. People just like the PlayStation more. More people talk about the PlayStation 5 as a console than the Xbox. It's just what it is, you know? That's just from my own experience. You know, yours might be different, obviously. So, yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, as I always say, you know, leave a like, comment down below, hit the notification bell. That way, you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. If you're a returning viewer or new viewer, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, and I'm signing out, guys. See you guys later. Deuces. Peace.